What's good, everybody? It's Six here. I'm with On the Radar, and we're going to break down Ghost in the Machine by Logic.
Back in the basement, homie. Way before the first placement, homie. Back in the basement, homie. Way before the first placement, homie. Yeah, time is a drug and it's finite. So that's why I write about my present now.
So the Ghost in the Machine, there's like a lore behind it, really. So long time ago, I want to say it's 2017, maybe even 2018, where I was in the studio with Logic and was just playing a beat. It was just me in the studio, and Logic walks in and the beat's playing in the background, and he's rocking, he's bobbing, and there's like a clip of this like snippet of Logic like walking in, hearing this beat I made. And within like the Rat Pack, which is like Logic's fan base, it was a song that whatever that they've been wanting for years. So that snippet comes out a long ass time ago. And then we're dropping albums. We're dropping like 3, 4, 5 albums. And people are like, where's this? Where's that snippet? Where's the, that one snippet where Logic's in the studio rapping to that soul beat? And, fast forward a few years later, we're working on a record called Ultra 85, which is also another fan lore where people have been asking for this album for a long time. And it was like the perfect place to kind of bring this beat back. The kind of like the ultimate album, for the fans. And yeah, so we had this beat for a long ass time, like 5+ years before Logic even wrote the verse for it. And that's kind of how it came about. So I kind of had this beat for a while, but it never came to fruition until later. It's a pretty crazy story. So I grew up in Maryland, went to the University of Maryland when I graduated high school. So I was 18, man. And that's when I kind of started making beats, actually. I came up, growing up when I was a kid, playing guitar and drums and bass. And I was playing in rock bands, hardcore bands, metal bands. But then I got into making beats around 07, 08 when Kanye dropped Graduation. And I was like, oh my God, like this is the craziest shit. He flipped Elton John on the first song. And I was like, he's my favorite artist. And I was like, oh my God, he can flip Elton John. So then I got into making beats and ended up, producing with my boy Owen. And in DC, kind of down the street from my dorm room in college, there would be these beat battles in DC. It was like the 1-year anniversary beat battle. And I was like, we gotta go. So I walk in the beat battle, signed up for the beat battle, and I walk in and I see this guy on stage, and it's Logic. And he's young Logic with the polo and the baggy jeans, and he was killing it. But I ended up winning the beat battle that night. And
that was your first beat battle?
It was probably like my second or third. So I was kind of doing these beat battles, and when they did the 1-year anniversary, they invited us back because like we were doing pretty good. And I ended up winning that beat battle that night. And Logic hit me up on Twitter back then and was like, yo, heard you won the beat battle. I had to dip out. And that's some like straight Logic shit too. It's like, I'm gonna get my job done and then I'm going home. So he performed. And then he found out that I won that beat battle and hit me up on Twitter and was like, yo, send me some beats. And, sent him a pack. And one of the joints on there became a song called Love Jones on his first album, first mixtape, really. Some straight Maryland shit, just people in Maryland were fucking with it. And then went over to his godmother's crib not too long after that and made a song called One, where we sampled Frank Sinatra. And he's a big Sinatra guy. And so we've just been locked in since we made that song. First time in person. That was our first time in person working, and ever since then we've just been locked in. It's pretty crazy because we don't really have to say much to each other. It's weird. Like we've been working together for so long that it's almost like telepathic in a way where
I know that.
Where it's like he's like, without even talking, I'm already working on a pack of beats that he needs, like sonically, without him even telling me I need that shit. So it's like but that takes time. But even back then, it was cool because he's a producer, like Logic's a producer. So when we get in the room together, I love artists that are hands-on and like know what they want. It makes my job easier. So anytime we get in the studio, it's like, he's like, I need this, boom, boom. Yo, remember those drums you had? Boom. it's also like I'm cooking up so much, so I'm like bringing so much stuff, and then he can just rattle off. So it's like it's really efficient, and we kind of both know what we want, what each other needs, without having to say it. So I think that's that, but that takes time too. But also when we first started, it almost felt like that too. It's almost was meant to be, you know. FL Studio, Fruity Loops, the greatest DAW of all time.
That's what you started on, or?
Yeah, that's the first thing. That's the only first thing I use. The only thing I use. I tried, man. I tried the no knock to the other DAWs, but for me, there's something about FL that it's comfortable for me, and it just fits my eyes and my ears, and I'm not gonna use anything else. Ooh, see, now we're talking. Serato sample, number one, because I love sampling, and the way the new version of Serato, you can manipulate it and take out whatever, like the stems. The stem separator is crazy on there. Omnisphere, Omnisphere 2. I'm still gonna ride by Omnisphere 2. I used it back in the day, like for everything, and then I stepped away, and then I was using like the native stuff, which I still use, and like Exhale and all that, and all the cool stuff, like the 40 plugin and all that, whatever, like all the native stuff. But then I like wanted to just simplify my shit and just have like one thing that I can kind of just open and use for everything. And yeah, Omnisphere I think is the one for that. And then Nexus 3. See where my head goes, it's like
it could be a
Metallica
artist that's dead on.
Yeah, like Metallica, Elton John, McGee, let's see, Claro, and J. Cole. I think like right now, like that'd be fire. Like Metallica is my favorite band ever, and I love rock, I love metal music, I love heavy music, and them for me is always going to be number one. And I don't know what we would do or what, whatever, but somehow, some way that'd be amazing. And yeah, McGee is also another artist that I'm really inspired by, that I would love to work with. So I think that's the 5 right there. Before, I used to kind of just lock myself in my room and kind of work through it, and just keep, which is a good way to do it. It's like I tell people, if they're in like beat block or something, just sometimes you got to make like 15 beats before you find like the one that got. I've even heard like J. Cole say this, where he'll make like 10 beats, and that 10th beat is the one you actually like use, So when it's a slow day like that, I'll tend to just like kind of just keep making stuff. But now, as I get older, I'm like, sometimes you just gotta like close the laptop for a little bit. Yeah, like I'll be playing golf with Mike, my manager, and all the homies, and sometimes you gotta just step out. And even today we were walking around New York, and we found like the name of my next album just by like walking around and looking around and just like experiencing life. So I think it's a balance of both. It's kind of depends on where you're at in your career. It's like, if you're a young producer, I would say like just make 15 beats in a row and see what works. Yeah. But if you've done that, it's like, man, sometimes you just gotta live life. So it kind of depends where you are in your career. Never say that's not good, I think, in my opinion.
Why you say that?
Because who's to say what's good and what's not? There's probably so many hit songs and so many bangers and whatever you want to call it that started off a certain way, and it's like, if you kill that light too early, then the artist might just give up on that song, and you never know what it can be. It's like you got to flush it out and say it in a way that's not like this is good or bad. It's almost like, well, what do you think about doing something like this? Or what do you think about doing something like this? Because it's someone's art and someone's, heart that's going into it. So you got to kind of tread that line. So anytime someone's like in the studio and being like, that's not good. It's like, what do you mean that's not good? We're just starting the song, so I think the biggest thing is just, you got to flush it out and be this is something I learned from Logic too, is this thing called like open creative, which he learned from No ID. And No ID would be in the studio, and his whole thing is open creative. He had like this football, you like throw around the room, open creative on it. And that means basically like, let's just see what happens. There's no, this is good or this is bad. It's just open creative. And we're making the type of records that are experimental, that we want to make, or fun, whatever. It's just, that's the energy that I kind of bring to kind of my sessions when I work. But yeah, it's never shit on something too early, you know? The name of the album is Homebody, and that's really who I am. I got, you know, Juicy J, Buddy, Like from Pactive, Super Duper Kyle, Felix, Logic, Chloe the God, Phil Ade, Party Alone, Skizzy Mars. The list goes on.
Hitters.
Yeah, Drum, Guap Dad. Yeah, it was just fun to just get in with all these people and be able to work. Cause there's like Travis Stacy, where I made my boy Travis, where we did like some rock shit. And then Chloe the God, where we did like some, to me, it's like some early like Pink Floyd meets Erykah Badu meets like Hate is Coyote type of stuff. Yeah, just a lot of cool people, man. It was fun to make it. Yeah, you know, I get asked this a lot, and the first thing that always comes to my head is find your person. You know, that's kind of how I tapped into the world of production. Is, you know, I found my guy. You know, I met Logic before, you know, we dropped anything. So I was locked in. I kind of knew. I saw the vision, and it's hard to play the placement game because you're relying on someone else that you don't even know really, and you don't really like have a connection with. It's like they pick your beat, and it's like, cool. I gotta wait to see if they like it. It's a hard game to play. It's a really hard game. Even someone like me, it's hard. It's really hard. So I would say like find an artist that you really fuck with and you believe in their vision, and you start from ground zero, from the basement, and you build, and then you get to make whole records with an artist. It's like you're not getting one placement here, you're not getting one placement here, one placement here. You're getting 12 placements right here on this record, and you know, and you get to build something. And when that record comes out, it's like it's a part of you as well. You know, you can really put your art and, you know, influences and influence the artist, and then it becomes a whole sound. It's like that's what rap is. It's an artist and a producer. Like the best shit, in my opinion, the best shit. Like that's the best stuff. So yeah, just find someone that you can really lock in with and build and grow that way. All right, so the first thing that I do usually when I start making a beat, 90% of the time is just, you know, I spend hours and hours and hours digging through records, digging through samples. Cause that's what I love. I love music from the 60s and 70s. Just something about that era. So, you know, came across this record by the Friends of Distinction called Going in Circles. So I heard that and I was like, I have to do something with this. I have no choice. So got that into Serato, kind of chopped it up. So I was like, oh, that's fire. You know, you don't even really need drums on that, but I was like, fuck, I'm gonna put some drums. So I had to lay that down. That's kind of like, it depends. Like I'll start with drums sometimes, or I'll start with the sample chop. But in that case, I heard the sample chop first, and I laid that down. And then I wanted to, you know, just get a nice little groove going. You know, got a kick here. Just a very simple, kick pattern, and then you got the snare just on the 2 and 4. Easy. And then you got I'm a big hi-hat guy, which I mean a lot of producers are, but it's like a hi-hat from a break that I kind of chopped up. You got the Filthy Drums pack, from back in the day, where that's from. So yeah, when you put those drums together, it's just a simple bounce, Throw the sample in there. And yeah, so it's like, like I said, I made this beat, back in the day, if you're a Rat Pack member, Logic fan, you saw this beat going around for years and years and years and never knew the album to use it on, but the fans have always been asking for it. And, when it came time to make Ultra 85, that's something Logic was like, man, we should probably, throw this record on. But it was also missing something. Even though the fans loved it, we loved it. We wanted to add like another layer to it. And I made this other beat. It's called It's So Real. And I had this from back in the day. Yeah, so this is a beat that I had as well. And Logic was like, do I do the verse on this? Do I do the verse on the original beat? So I'll just play this other beat I had.
I said these are the things that my heart feels. It's so real, real, yeah, real. It's so real, real, yeah, real. It's so.
And we actually have a whole other song on that beat too. So the fans might ask for that now. But we were in the studio working on this song, and Logic was like, man, what about that other beat that you had though? Like, that beat's so hard. Like, would this verse go harder on that beat? And then we ended up just kind of combining the two and took this chop from that beat.
It's so it's so real, 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 real. It's so real, 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 real. It's so real.
And so I kind of put that in the key of this beat. So we kind of combined two beats in one to, we wanted to use both. So we just combined them.
It's so real, real, real. It's so real, 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 real. It's so real,
And shout out my boy Rhetoric too. He did scratches on that joint, and we kind of like combined chops. Rhetoric chopped it up crazy on it. I kind of chopped it up crazy, and we just combined them. He threw the scratches on, and yeah, this is just a joint for the fans that the fans really been asking for. And it's almost like the stuff that Logic's talking about on the records, throwing it back to the come up and those good old days from back in the day. And we even switched it up to like second half. Logic like took the beat and like half timed it. And then we got, Steve Wireman. We got Tom playing strings. We got vocals, Robert Ivory, Phil Ade to like fill out that second half. And, I feel like it's one of the fan favorites from Ultra 85. And I'm just glad that we were able to drop it, and, even with the sample, shout out to the Friends of Distinction because they let us use it. And Logic and, the main creator of the song got on a call and basically like figured out a way to make it worthwhile for everybody involved. And we got to clear it and came out. And, I hear like, baseball players walk out to it and like the fans, like when it came out, it was amazing. And yeah, just glad we got to drop it. And that's, that goes to the machine right there. What's good? It's 6, and thank you for watching my on the radar beat breakdown for Ghost in the Machine.